The sun was barely creeping over the horizon, casting a harsh orange glow across the dusty parade grounds of Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Private First Class Elena Marquez stood rigid, her boots sinking slightly into the dewy earth, as Drill Sergeant Callahan's voice thundered through the morning air. "You call that a push-up, Marquez? My grandmother's got more grit than you." The other recruits snickered, their eyes darting toward Elena, who kept her gaze fixed on the ground, her jaw clenched tight. She wasn't here to make friends as she was here to prove something. But the whispers followed her everywhere. Too small, too quiet, too soft for the army. They didn't know the truth etched into her skin, hidden beneath her uniform. A truth that would leave even the toughest commander speechless. Hey, if you're hooked already, hit that subscribe button to join our storytelling family. We've got more epic tales like this coming your way. Elena had always been an enigma, even back in her small hometown of El Paso, Texas. Raised by a single mother who worked double shifts at a diner, Elena learned early to keep her head down and her secrets close. At 18, she'd shocked everyone by enlisting, trading her high school diploma for a duffel bag and a one-way ticket to basic training. Her mother had begged her to stay, tears streaming as she clutched Elena's hands. "Why the army, Miju? You're not built for that world." But Elena's eyes had burned with a fire her mother couldn't understand. She wasn't running from something as she was running toward it. The tattoo on her upper arm, hidden beneath layers of cloth and lies, was her reason. A classified mark, a symbol of a past she couldn't speak of, not even to herself. Boot camp was brutal from day one. The South Carolina heat was a living thing, wrapping around Elena like a python, squeezing the air from her lungs. The other recruits, a mix of cocky jocks and nervous kids fresh out of high school, sized her up and dismissed her instantly. At 5'2" and barely 120 pounds, Elena didn't look like she could carry a rucksack, let alone survive the gauntlet of basic training. "Hey, Tiny, you sure you didn't sign up for the Girl Scouts by mistake?" Recruit Jenkins, a hulking linebacker from Alabama, smirked as he tossed his gear next to hers. The others laughed, and Elena's cheeks burned, but she said nothing. Silence was her shield. She'd learned that long ago, in a place she'd sworn never to think about again. The first week was a blur of shouted orders, endless drills, and sleepless nights. Elena pushed through, her small frame trembling under the weight of her pack during ruck marches, her hands blistered from rifle drills. Callahan, a grizzled veteran with eyes like a hawk, seemed to have it out for her. "Marquez, you're holding up my platoon. Move faster or I'll send you back to wherever you crawled from." Elena's heart pounded, but she kept moving, her mind flashing to the tattoo, a jagged, cryptic design that seemed to pulse under her skin. She couldn't fail. Not here, not when so much was at stake. By week 3, the whispers had turned into open mockery. During a night exercise, Jenkins accidentally tripped her in the mud, sending her sprawling into a ditch. "Oops," he said, grinning as the others laughed. Elena scrambled to her feet, her uniform caked in grime, her eyes blazing. "You got something to say, Tiny?" Jenkins taunted, stepping closer. For a moment, Elena's hand twitched toward her sleeve, where the tattoo lay hidden. She wanted to scream the truth, to make them understand, but she couldn't, not yet. Instead, she met his gaze, her voice low and steady. "You'll see." The words hung in the air, sharp and heavy, and for a split second, Jenkins faltered, unnerved by the steel in her eyes. The turning point came during a live-fire exercise in week 5. The recruits were tasked with navigating a simulated combat zone, crawling under barbed wire while live rounds snapped overhead. Elena's heart raced, not from fear of the bullets, but from the memories they stirred. She'd been in a place like this before, not a training ground, but a real battlefield. Not as a soldier, but as something else, something she couldn't explain, not even to herself. As she belly crawled through the mud, her sleeve snagged on a wire, tearing just enough to reveal a glimpse of the tattoo. Recruit Sarah Miller, crawling beside her, caught sight of Ida's strange, angular symbol glowing faintly under the floodlights. "What the hell is that?" Sarah whispered, her voice tinged with awe and fear. Elena yanked her sleeve down, her pulse hammering. "Nothing," she hissed, but Sarah's wide eyes said she didn't believe it. Word of the tattoo spread like wildfire through the platoon. By the next morning, The recruits were buzzing with theories. "I bet it's Gang Inc." Jenkins sneered during chow, loud enough for Elena to hear, or some weird cult thing. Others speculated it was a memorial, a lover's mark, or even a prison tattoo. Elena ignored them, focusing on her tray of lukewarm eggs, but the weight of their stares pressed against her. She knew the truth was stranger than anything they could imagine. The tattoo wasn't just ink, it was a key, a relic of a mission so classified that even she didn't know its full scope. All she knew was the promise she'd made to the man who'd given it to her. Keep it hidden, keep it safe. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. The mockery reached its peak during a hand-to-hand combat drill. Paired against Jenkins, Elena stood no chance. At least, that's what everyone thought. Callahan barked to orders as Jenkins lunged, his massive frame dwarfing her. "Come on, Tiny, show me what you got," he jeered, swinging a lazy punch. But Elena moved like lightning, ducking under his arm and landing a precise strike to his ribs. Jenkins grunted, stumbling back, shock flashing across his face. The platoon fell silent, and even Callahan raised an eyebrow. Elena didn't stop. She flowed through the moves like water, her small size belying a strength and precision that seemed almost inhuman. Jenkins hit the mat, hard, and stayed down. For the first time, the platoon looked at Elena not with scorn, but with something closer to respect or fear. That night, in the barracks, Sarah cornered her. "Where'd you learn to move like that?" she asked, her voice low. Elena shrugged, avoiding her gaze. "Just practice." But Sarah wasn't buying it. "That tattooed broken bar, it's not normal, is it?" "I saw it glow, Elena." "I'm not crazy." Elena's heart stopped. She wanted to trust Sarah, to tell her everything, but the weight of her promise held her back. "You didn't see anything," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah frowned but didn't push. "Not yet." The real shock came during the final week of training, at the commander's inspection. Colonel Raymond Holt, a steely-eyed officer with the reputation for breaking recruits, strode down the line, his boots clicking on the concrete. Elena stood at attention, her uniform crisp, her heart pounding. She'd made it this far, but the tattoo felt like a ticking bomb under her sleeve. Holt stopped in front of her, his gaze piercing. "Private Marquez," he said, his voice like gravel. "You've surprised a lot of people, but I'm not convinced." He leaned closer, his eyes narrowing. "Roll up your sleeve." The world seemed to stop. Elena's breath caught, her mind racing. She couldn't refuse a direct order, but exposing the tattoo could unravel everything. The platoon watched, breathless, as she slowly rolled up her sleeve. The symbol emerged, stark against her skin, its lines pulsing faintly with an otherworldly light. Holt froze, his face draining of color. For a moment, he was silent, a silence that felt louder than any shout. The recruits exchanged confused glances. Jenkins whispered, "What the hell, a broken bar?" But Holt didn't move, didn't speak. Finally, he stepped back, his voice low. "Private Marquez, report to my office." Now, in Holt's office, the air was thick with tension. He closed the door, his hands trembling slightly as he locked it. "Where did you get that?" he demanded, pointing at the tattoo. Elena's mouth went dry. She'd never seen a man like Holt look shaken. "Yeah, broken bar, can't say, sir," she stammered. "It's classified." Holt's eyes widened, and for the first time, Elena saw something like fear in them. "Classified?" he repeated, his voice barely a whisper. "Do you have any idea what that symbol means?" Elena shook her head, but deep down, she knew more than she let on. The man who'd given her the tattoo, a shadowy figure in a black suit, his face obscured, had called it the key to the future. He'd said it would protect her, but also make her a target. Holt sank into his chair, rubbing his temples. "That symbol, a broken bar, it's not army, it's not even military, it's something else." He looked at her, his gaze searching. "Who are you, Marquez?" Elaine wanted to tell him everything of the mission she'd been pulled into at 16, the covert operation in a desert she couldn't name, the technology she'd seen that defied explanation. But the words caught in her throat. Instead, she said, "I'm just a soldier, sir, trying to do my duty." Holt studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "You're dismissed." But this isn't over. The final days of boot camp were a blur. The platoon no longer mocked Elena. They avoided her, their whispers tinged with awe. Jenkins, nursing bruised ribs and a bruised ego, kept his distance. Sarah tried to ask questions, but Elena brushed her off, her mind consumed by Holt's reaction. On graduation day, as the recruits stood in formation, Holt approached her one last time. He handed her a sealed envelope, his expression unreadable. "Don't open it until you're alone," he said. "And Marquez, be careful. You're not just a soldier anymore." That night, in the quiet of her bunk, Elena opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper, stamped with a seal she didn't recognize. The words were brief but chilling. "Report to DARPA, Washington, D.C. Project Echelon awaits." Her heart raced as she traced the tattoo with her finger. Its glow brighter now, almost alive. She didn't know what Project Echelon was, but she knew it was tied to the tattoo, to the mission she'd been running from and Florida her whole life. Elena stood at the edge of the parade ground, the stars above Fort Jackson blazing like a map to an unknown future. She'd come here to prove herself, to silence the doubters, but she'd uncovered something bigger. The tattoo wasn't just a mark, it was a call to a destiny she couldn't escape. As she boarded the bus to D.C., her mother's words echoed in her mind, "You're not built for that world." But Elena knew now she was built for something far greater. Hey, that's the story of Elena Marquez, a soldier who carried a secret that shook even the toughest commander. What did you think of her journey? And let us know in the comments. So where are you watching this video from? We'd love to hear from all corners of the country.